One of the biggest name free agents of this offseason has found his new home. DeAndre Hopkins calling Tennessee his new place of residence, agreeing reportedly to a 2-year, $26 million guaranteed deal worth up to $32 with incentives. I know you and Femi talked a lot yesterday about the odds movement with the Chiefs gaining a little bit of steam. The Titans did remain the favorite. Hopkins, of course, also paid a visit to the New England Patriots a month ago. But now that you know it is official, it's Tennessee, what was your initial reaction yesterday?
Well, I think to me, we talked about it on the air, and the betting market was moving to Kansas City. It seemed like maybe if Kansas City could put together a package off of Chris Jones's redo, which we think will get done sometime soon, that would give them enough cash to be able to then go after Hopkins, which I still think they need Hopkins. Remember, they were interested in trading for Hopkins. It was financially too much. They were interested in signing Juju Smith-Schuster back, but that became too much. He was the second leading receiver on their team. So I think this was one of those where the Titans just blew everybody out of the water with their offer. I don't think this was close. I don't think the Titans were competing with anybody other than their depth chart, but I think they made a significant deal to make sure they secured him. And I heard Mike Vrabel say on the broadcast yesterday on the golf thing that he's known about this since yesterday, which would have been Saturday. So, yeah, I think when you have the most money and the most desperation, you usually end up with the player.
Right, and New England being one of the potential suitors in this throughout the time that DeAndre Hopkins has been a free agent. I feel like Bill Belichick personally. He probably had a number in his mind, and if you're not going to meet that number, then okay, move on to the next thing. And to your point with desperation and cash, we know how much the Odell Beckham Jr. deal over with the Ravens probably skewed some things in the mind of DeAndre Hopkins, and now he gets a significant number.
Yeah, I mean, he got 26 over 2 reported. We'll see when it comes in. But you're right. I mean, New England was never going to get to 26 over 2. When they did Parker's deal, Devontae Parker's deal, that was a modest deal. I think it was 10. And I still think that there could be a chance that they are involved with Dalvin Cook. They should be. I think Dalvin Cook would really make that Ramondo Stevenson, Dalvin Cook, that 1-2 punch in the backfield really good. I think Pierre Strong's a good player. Is he ready to be that? No. Is Kevin Harris ready to be the backup? I don't know. I think there's a question mark there. I know you need 2 running backs in the NFL, so we'll see. If they turn and put their resources into Cook, I don't think Patriot fans should be bothered by that at all.
As far as the Titans side of things, though, what do you think DeAndre Hopkins does do for this offense? Because immediately he is going to be wide receiver 1. I think from a veteran presence standpoint, probably a great thing for the young Treylon Burks coming off of his rookie season. Does this open things up a little bit more now for Derrick Henry, who we know this offense runs through? What's your overall just opinion on, does this move the needle at all for you for Tennessee?
It gives them a receiver. The 2 leading receiver, Robert Woods and Austin Hooper, are no longer on the team last year. I think the guy that probably breathed the biggest sigh of relief was Ryan Tannehill. Right. Because now on third down, he's got somebody I can throw the ball to and I can count on to make a play for me. He can do something to help us, right? So they lost 94 receptions between Woods and Hooper that are gone from the team. I don't think Burke's going to catch up. The depth chart's not there. They didn't draft anybody. They didn't address the need. They signed Chris Moore from Houston. Moore is a special team or 4th, 5th receiver than is a 1, 2, and 3 receiver. So this was a move that Tennessee was competing against themselves, and Tannehill has to be ecstatic about it. Look, this offense is going to be predicated on Derrick Henry running the football, play action pass, Derrick Henry running the football. And Hopkins can survive in that. Now, we know he doesn't practice a lot. We know he's not always in terms of the ability to have, he plays, but he's not always healthy. We'll see how that works out. But Tannehill has to feel a sigh of relief because when you break this team down, I mean, look, they struggle. They were 36% on third down last year. It was hard to convert for them.
Yeah, and he's a receiver that, yes, I know he's older, 31 years old. You're wondering how much there really is left in the tank. But that because his hands are so good and the catch radius is what it is, he can make a quarterback right in a lot of instances. And I think that'll really benefit Ryan Tannehill. We know Mike Vrabel is their coach. We know the defense should be good. And so I think going out and adding a guy like DeAndre Hopkins maybe can be that little bit of the shot in the arm that, hey, let's actually try to be competitive here. I know that we have some people on the network that thought prior to signing Hopkins even that the Titans could be maybe the worst team in the NFL this year. I've never thought that far about it. But now, whereas before when I looked at the Titans win total at 7.5, I thought, I have no interest really buying in. Now I would consider it maybe versus my feelings previous to this. The Titans are off the board in the division odds right now for the AFC South. We did see it at plus 350 prior with the Jags, an odds-on favorite to make the playoffs. The number sitting currently plus 220 at BetMGM, to miss around minus 275, minus $3. And Hopkins, for him personally, his receiving yards total 850.5. He went under each of the last 2 years, but didn't play more than 10 games in either of those two seasons. Had 717 receiving yards, 9 games in 2021. And so this is interesting too, just looking at his numbers. He played the 9 games. He missed a little time at the back end of the season with the injury and then obviously the PED suspension to start the year. But among wide receivers, Michael, to play at least 9 games, he was top 10 in targets, receptions, receiving yards per game, and even fantasy points. So I am of the belief, I feel like the more that this soaks into me that he's going to be a Tennessee Titan, the more I start to like it and think that, yes, like you said, everything's going through Derrick Henry, but maybe a little bit of help there on the outside.
Well, I mean, look, the Titans are who they are, right? I mean, Mike Vrabel's their head coach. They're going to win with the run game, play action pass, protect the football, don't lose the game. And then they're going to show their defense is really good. I mean, with Jeffrey Simmons inside, with Harold Landry, they signed Arden Key from Jacksonville, who had a good year in Jacksonville last year, another edge rusher. You know, they've signed Murphy Bunting from the Arizona Cardinals to help their secondary, which they need a lot of help. I mean, this is a team that the reason that John Robertson isn't the general manager anymore is because some of these draft picks don't even get to the field for him. So, but this defense, now let's make no mistake about it, this defense, if healthy, will be good. And they'll be hard to beat. I mean, they're 17-10 in that game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who we think are going to run away with everything. I mean, we're ready to anoint them the Super Bowl champions, and they're in a close game. And if Josh Allen sacks Joshua Dobbs or else, that's coming down to the wire. I mean, they're in games, and so I don't think you could just dismiss them. I don't think Jacksonville is as great as we think they are, and I don't think Tennessee's as bad as people might think they are.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.